want to introduce to you our special guest, Fergie Devins, volunteer for Bladder Cancer Canada.
There you go.
Give Fergie a round of applause. Thanks for yellow.
Thank you. Yes, yellow. So we're saying it's #show yellow, #bladder cancer. It's our first bladder cancer awareness month in Canada. However, our colleagues in the United States and in the UK are also celebrating bladder cancer awareness. So the job is to raise awareness for bladder cancer. Should tell you a little bit about myself. I was diagnosed with bladder cancer back in January of 2014. I'm all clear right now. I go back in June for my next checkup. Bladder cancer has a high reoccurrence rate, so you really need to stay on top of it, which I'm doing. I'm following the protocol, following what my doctor and the nurses say. And so a little bit about Bladder Cancer Canada. We're a 7-year-old organization. Bladder cancer is the 4th most prevalent cancer for men in Canada and 12th for women. So making that 5th most prevalent cancer in Canada. Unfortunately, our funding is below 20. So a big part of what we do is to raise awareness, to ask for advocacy for bladder cancer. We provide patient care and support to caregivers. We raise awareness like we're doing today. Thank you, Jeremy and Christy and the Princess Margaret Cancer Center. And we also fund research. If you're interested in more information, you go to bladdercancercanada.org, or on Twitter, we're bladdercancerca, and we also have a Facebook page.
Well, this is actually a perfect recipe you can do outdoors.
I've grilled
yes, absolutely.
Asparagus, yeah.
You can do this outdoors. We're going to do it indoors. They don't allow me to have a barbecue, unfortunately, down here in the basement. But these are delicious. We finally have some really nice Ontario produce. So really nice Ontario asparagus. This is the time to eat them, to buy them. And I'm going to show you quick technique. You can actually apply this technique to any vegetables. And we're going to use asparagus today, but it's a great way to reduce the amount of cleaning. I think you probably appreciate that. I know I'd appreciate that. I know Christy
Do you have to do
appreciates
dishes?
that.
I don't do
You
the
just do the
dishes.
grilling?
I don't do the dishes.
Oh, okay.
No.
You
If
got
I'm
off
grilling, I'm not doing the dishes.
All right. Minimize the cleanup. It's really,
The
really
dishwasher,
important.
the dishwasher does the dishes.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I must admit, I do load the dishwasher.
Oh, okay.
So there's less loading of the dishwasher than
Yeah,
here.
there you go.
So asparagus, wash them well. There's not too much to prep with them. The bottom ends of them are pretty woody, pretty fibrous. They're hard to chew, so usually remove them. There's a few techniques. I know we talked about this before, and you've probably seen it, where it's the bend and snap method. Have you heard of the bend and snap? Mm-hmm. It's a dance.
Legally
It's a
blonde
dance as well.
with- no.
Yeah. Yeah. So where you bend the asparagus and snap, and wherever it snaps, that's the part you discard.
Huh?
Most of the time it works. Sometimes you bend and snap, and you waste a lot of it, right?
Yeah.
You lose a lot of it. So you like to use it all the time. It's usually about the bottom inch and a half. That's really kind of woody.
And would you use the discard for soup?
You can save this for stock, absolutely. Yeah, so freeze the ends. That's a great point. Put them in the freezer, and then when you make a veggie stock, chicken stock, throw them in there, fantastic. But what I like to do is just sort of line them all up and remove about the bottom inch and a half. And then
It's so much
that you can
faster
finish.
than
It's a lot
snapping
easier
each
than
one,
snapping.
too.
Oh yeah, your prep would be incredible. So we'll save this, and we're ready to prepare our asparagus. So this is cooking with paper. You cooked with paper before?
No.
All right. So we're using parchment
Probably
paper.
not a good idea on the grill.
On the grill,
No.
paper on the grill would be, yeah.
No.
Well, like a smoke.
Well, you can, as long as it's indirect, you can do it on the barbecue too, actually. So this is a great way to do that. So this is parchment paper. We love using parchment paper. If you've come out to the class before, we almost always use parchment
I
paper.
think it's Jeremy's favorite tool, maybe, after
Yes,
his knife.
absolutely. So what we're going to do with the parchment paper, we just tore off a big piece, and we're going to run it under cold water. So I'm going to do it with both. Crunch them up, run them under water.
It's a great way to cut down on cleanup. So you'll see all kinds of recipes at ELLICSRkitchen.ca where we feature parchment paper so that you don't have pans and things to scrub.
Unravel that. So the reason why we run it under water is it's a little bit more malleable. We can play with it a little bit. We can fold it up. Plus some of that excess moisture on there is going to help to steam the inside.
Okay.
So now we're going to season our paper. All these terms are probably pretty new. I don't really season paper often, but so we're gonna add a little bit of olive oil, and you can add a little bit, just a little drizzle over top of the paper. Perfect. I'm gonna do the same.
Looks like some Jackson Pollock art.
It's like
Yeah.
two different art approaches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of olive oil. Then we're gonna use the lemons. And if you've seen some of the Bladder Cancer Canada ads out there, you will notice the lemons and the lemon mascot, I believe,
Now,
as well.
but you have to understand, people say, well, lemons, are they good for bladder cancer? Lemon is the icon for bladder cancer. What it represents is urine, okay? You want your urine to be yellow. And our ad that we have running on networks across the country, you actually have lemons falling and all of a sudden a red one shows up. And so the message is, if you see red, see your doctor. So it's been very powerful, very effective for us. So
Great. That's-
hence the lemons.
Yes.
That's one of the early signs, or the most common
Yes, it
signs
is.
that brings people into their doctor to get checked out for bladder cancer. So that's very, very important. And then, great question about the nutrition of lemons. You know, are they good for bladder cancer? They're great for prevention. Citrus fruits, there's some evidence that eating citrus fruits such as lemons, limes, oranges, grapefruits regularly can help lower the risk of developing bladder cancer by 13% compared to people who don't eat these fruits. But the thing is, if you're undergoing treatment, then your bladder is going to be sensitive to really acidic foods. So in that situation, you know, during your treatment, you would want to avoid some of those bladder irritants. So citrus would be one of them. Tea and coffee can be irritating, and really spicy food as well.
So we're gonna use another part, so not the juice, we're actually gonna use the outside. We're gonna use the zest of the lemon.
This is such a great trick. So you get the lemon
There
flavor
you go.
without that acidity. So if you are experiencing that sensitivity,
Actually, the other way around.
you can still
Yes.
utilize
Okay,
the
you got
lemon for all of its goodness.
So we're using microplanes here. Give you the bigger one, I have this tiny one, but
Thank you.
all you're gonna do is just grate the outside of the lemon. You're gonna wash it really well, dry it, and then the zest has all those essential oils. So you're gonna get this beautiful lemon flavor that's
So
gonna
basically
season.
just taking the skin.
Just the outside, just the yellow part, exactly.
If you get the white part, that's the bitter
Yes.
part of the fruit. So try to just get that beautiful yellow on the outside.
Beautiful, and you can smell it, I'm sure,
does smell.
as you're
Reminds me
grating
of
it.
Italy and limoncello.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
it's an amazing ingredient.
Okay, so a little bit of lemon zest. Next, another delicious, great ingredient, garlic. And we're gonna do the same thing. Just grate the garlic. I realize it's so much more difficult on this tiny
And it's a funny shape.
micro. Yeah, this is meant
Your
for.
little nutmeg microplane.
This is meant for cheese. Yes.
Could
So-
be risky here. We got yellow. We might have a little show of red if I go a little too far.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
grate your
Don't
fingers.
grate all the way down. So we have the lemon zest. We have this garlic. And really, it's up to you. You can season it with whatever you want. If you want to throw some bay leaf in there, throw some bay leaf, some thyme, some parsley. All right. So it looks pretty good. Just throw that garlic on top, and a lot of it's
see.
going to be underneath there. Yeah. So you can smell the lemon. You can smell the garlic. Can you smell it? I see some nods. All right.
Is it hitting the front few rows?
It'll get to the back. Give it a few minutes. And then we're gonna add just a little pinch of salt. Again, everything just on the paper. And yeah, your fingers are gonna be covered. That's it. And I put a little bit of black pepper as well. Beautiful. So that's it. A little salt and pepper, lemon, garlic, a little olive oil. And then we're gonna add our vegetables. And again, like I said, we're using asparagus today, but you can even put a piece of fish in here. You can put some broccoli and put some in the middle there. Put some in the middle here. I also have another beautiful yellow vegetable. Do you know what that guy is there? This is do we know? Beet, yes. So this is a golden beet.
Yellow beet?
Yes, yellow beet, golden beet. Delicious, sweet. It's a little bit milder than your regular beet. So if you're not a big fan of red beets, try the golden beet. It might be a little bit.
Interesting.
Another good point with the yellow beets. One of the most common reasons that people go to their doctor saying there's blood in my urine, a lot of the times it's the red from beets, right?
Right.
So in a way, for bladder cancer awareness, I encourage everybody, get some yellow beets. Then that way, if you do see red, you know it's not the beets in your diet. And so that's a good point. Definitely, if you haven't had beets and you notice that red, you want to get checked
On
out.
top.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Right on top. And now you're gonna get messy, and you're gonna get it and just sort of toss everything
Give it a massage.
around. Make sure the lemon and the garlic.
Jeremy did a great job of incorporating yellow foods into our recipe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
much appreciated. Great.
Absolutely.
Don't forget, hashtag show yellow.
Yes. I think I started the hashtag Cook Yellow as well the other
Great.
day. So that's it. Season. Beautiful. You smell good. Asparagus smells good.
Oh yeah.
And then we're gonna just wrap it up, and we're gonna turn it into a beautiful swan. You ready?
How's your
No.
origami?
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Okay.
No, we're just gonna wrap it up into a package. That's all we
Okay.
need. So what I do is just take the ends, and this you'll notice a lot easier now once we've wet the paper, and you can just fold it. I'm not the greatest at this.
So you're rolling it up like a
Yeah, like a purse, like a burrito, sure. Roll it up, and then once you get to the ends, just fold them underneath, like that. You got it.
Excellent.
Look at
You're a
that.
pro. Sous chef hired.
Beautiful.
I'm coachable.
There we go. Yeah, round of applause.
Okay.
All right. So that's going to go in.
Right.
And this is going into your pan. And like I said, if you want to do this out in the barbecue, absolutely do it in the barbecue. You have your heat on one side. The side that you don't have heat on, you just put this pan
it's like a
right on top.
convection oven
Convection
approach.
oven,
Oh,
exactly.
wonderful.
Yeah, if you're cooking inside, if you're like me, I don't see the sun ever, so I'm cooking down. It's going to go into the oven, 375 degrees for about 10 minutes. I don't like to completely overcook asparagus. I still like a little bit of a bite.
Crunch.
So I go around 10 minutes. If you like it a little softer, just cook it a little longer. That's all.
Okay.
Really, really nice. So that's going to go in. And this is, again, this is delicious. I'll show that in a second. This is delicious as sort of a side on its own. We're gonna cook it, and we're gonna serve it as a salad. And we're gonna add one of my favorites, not everybody's favorite, but buckwheat. I think I've asked you if you heard of this before. You said no.
No.
Has anyone heard of buckwheat before? Okay,
Little
yeah.
Rascals fans.
Yeah. It's a seed. It has a very interesting aroma. Some describe it as being in a barn, which doesn't sound like the most appetizing.
Earthy is a
Very
better
earthy.
euphemism.
Maybe you can describe the smells. It's delicious. It's super easy to cook.
It's gluten free.
Yeah, there you go.
Partner. People think because it's called buckwheat that it's wheat. It's not. Like Jeremy said, it's a seed. So it's gluten free if you're looking for a gluten free option.
Earthy is a very good description.
Earthy.
Yeah, earthy. I think it has almost like a little vanilla and a little almond as well. So
you
that's
go.
usually the way I like to describe it. It's used a lot in Eastern European cooking, very popular in Russia, Ukraine, some parts of Asia as well. So to cook buckwheat, really simple. It's usually the ratio is about 2 cups of water to 1 cup of buckwheat. There's a technique that I actually learned from a couple people. Not everyone does this, and I know a lot of the grandmothers that have been doing this forever will probably swear against it. But if you coat the buckwheat in egg, I find that it actually helps to keep the buckwheat separate. Buckwheat, when it cooks, it becomes very soft and it clumps together. A lot of times it becomes a little bit mushy. It's great as like a porridge in the morning. But if you're making it like a salad, I want to keep it separate. So I crack 1 egg in a bowl and I add 1 cup of the buckwheat. Now, this is toasted buckwheat. So it's a little darker than your regular buckwheat. Toasted buckwheat, it's also known as kasha. So you may have heard of kasha. Yeah. So kasha is the same thing as buckwheat. It's just been toasted before. It has a little bit of more of that earthy aroma.
Anytime you
to it.
toast nuts or grains, what happens? Or bread, you get that aroma coming out.
Yes.
Nutty
So
flavor.
we're just coating it in this egg, and it's going to go right into a pan or a pot.
Will it expand like rice?
It doesn't expand too much. It not like rice, not like quinoa or any of those. It stays pretty, the volume, it won't double, but maybe expand like 15%, 20%. So that's going to go into our pan with the egg. And I just want to cook it for like a minute. And stir it while it's cooking.
Is it like scrambling an egg? Is it similar?
Yeah, kind of like scrambled egg, but I don't want to create.
Buckwheat hold it together?
Yes, yeah. So I don't want to create like an omelet or a
Omelet.
It might
scrambled
be a
egg.
buckwheat
Yeah.
pancake if
Yeah.
you leave it.
So I just want to sort of cook it a little bit, toast it like this, and then I'm going to add my water. Now I find that if I add a little bit less water, I get a little bit more texture on the grain. So I actually don't do 2 cups. And on the recipe, I think I wrote down a cup and 3/4. Yeah, I find that it works a little bit better. So, and you can add water, you can add stock. Any liquid you add is going to be absorbed into the buckwheat. So think of that as an opportunity to infuse even more flavor.
Lemon
Yes.
juice?
You can put a little lemon juice if you want. Absolutely.
Maybe not 2 cups of lemon.
Not 2 cups. No.
It's gonna be tart.
Yeah. So pretty simple. I'm doing this in a pan, but you can do this in a pot. Again, just give it a little stir so it doesn't stick on the bottom. Once it comes to a boil, put the lid on top, reduce to low. I don't think I have a lid that fits. But anyways, you get it. It reduced to low, and then it'll absorb all the water in about 12 minutes, and you'll get buckwheat like this. And this is it cooked.
It looks like lentils once it's
It almost
cooked.
looks like lentils. It's very tasty, and it's great and savory, and it's sweet. Like I said, you can use this as a substitute for oatmeal in the morning. Add some fresh berries, some yogurt. It is fantastic. Really, really tasty. So there's our buckwheat, and we're gonna finish our salad. A great sort of side with the salad. So this is our asparagus and our beets. So once you open it up, that's perfect. So can you see? So still nice and vibrant green, has really, really nice crunch to it. I'm just gonna cut this in half.
Man with knife.
Yes.
Said that.
And that's it. I'm gonna plate. So this is when you can get as chefy as you want. You can get as artistic. We'll put a little bit of the buckwheat on there. So yeah, like Chrissy said, we're gonna finish it. A little bit of ricotta on top.
Beautiful.
Just build high. That's the way to go.
That's the plating secret.
But save the fresh herbs for the end on top. And this is just mint. I think mint and asparagus works really, really well together. Our asparagus and buckwheat salad.